All right, good evening, everyone, and happy 4th of July. I'm afraid to tell you, it looks like Mother Nature is going to have a fireworks show of her own. As expected, those thunderstorms moving through the area. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Benton County. That runs until 8 p.m. this evening. The reason for that warning being issued, the storm that's moving through is capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour winds, heavy rainfall, frequent thunder and lightning as well. Right now, that storm, the core of it just to the south of Bella Vista, the worst just to the west of Bentonville, likely moving towards Bentonville over the next few minutes. This is a live look at radar. Centerton, you're getting hit hard with this storm right now. I would suspect you're experiencing some very torrential rainfalls. You're hearing a lot of thunder. You're seeing a lot of lightning. And if it's materializing the way it appears that it very well could be, you're probably experiencing some gusty winds. It looks like the maximum winds this storm is going to be capable of, at least as of right now, right around 60 miles per hour. We'll put a track on this. Certainly Bentonville, downtown Bentonville, you are in the path of this storm. Little Flock, anyone on Beaver Lake, also in the path of this severe thunderstorm. Right now it is moving at about 20 miles per hour, which is really slow for a severe thunderstorm, especially one that's dumping a lot of rain. So don't expect it to necessarily just end anytime soon. I'm afraid you're probably going to be dealing with this for the next little bit. Putting a track on this, moving it due east, that takes it into downtown Bentonville about 10 minutes from now. The core of the storm anyways, you're already seeing some of the rain move in. Little Flock, how about 7:58, Brightwater at 8:12, Garfield 8:27, Eureka Springs. Good evening to you folks. 9:05 is when that thunderstorm likely moves into your neck of the woods. We actually have a camera that sits on the square there in downtown Bentonville. We'll take a look into that. This is Bentonville from our Jack Links camera. It looks like we've got some frequent lightning there, some raindrops occurring on that camera lens as well. And that's probably going to be common for the next several minutes, if not closer to an hour or so, before we're actually able to completely move this storm out of your area. This storm specifically right now impacting Benton County. But that's it for our viewing area at the moment. There's another line of storms that's going to be moving in that's still well into parts of eastern Oklahoma. That's what it looks like from Bentonville right now. Back to radar we go. We look off towards the west, and we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Delaware County. Not technically within the Channel 5 viewing area, but close enough. Of course, we wanted to give you a heads up with regards to that specific storm. And you look, there's some scattered rain in parts of south central Oklahoma. That likely moves into the River Valley, but given the general orientation of that line, northwest Arkansas sees the rain, sees the thunderstorms first, and the River Valley soon to follow after that. So when it comes to those fireworks shows, the River Valley has a little bit more time, a little bit better of a window as opposed to northwest Arkansas. 7:37 right now. Sunset's about exactly an hour from now. Given these storms are moving slow, maybe that helps some of us out. Probably not a lot of the folks in Benton County. Certainly with that storm back off towards the west in Delaware County, that's not exactly the best setup. But if we're in Washington County, Crawford, Sebastian, LaFleur, Franklin, Johnson, Logan, Scott, maybe we're in a little bit better of luck with the current storms. I say that with a big asterisk because it's possible there are going to be some pop-up storms out ahead of this main line. That, of course, would damper our plans this evening. We'll have to track that possibility. With regards to what's on radar right now, it's moving slowly. But unfortunately, it is moving our direction, so that is going to bring impacts to at least some of our 4th of July plans. Let's take another look back into northwest Arkansas, specifically the Benton County storm. Moving over Centerton right now, at least the core of the storm. There's a lot of lightning with it. Let's see if there's any hail. At times, these storms back in parts of Oklahoma have had a little bit of hail. I'm seeing none with that storm right now. That's the good news. It's primarily just driven by wind. Although now that I look at that data, it looks like perhaps it did have a little bit of hail near Gravette and just to the north of Decatur. That hail core, at least for the moment, starting to show some signs of weakening. Let's see if that trend actually continues or not. It's certainly possible that we'll continue to see some additional hailstones falling out of that storm. Certainly a good core of winds with that system. In fact, it's certainly going to be possible that we can see some 60-mile-per-hour straight-line winds coming out of that storm. Weather Service indicating that there could also be some nickel-size hail, which isn't large enough to quantify a severe thunderstorm warning, those are issued for hail when it's 1 inch or quarter size or greater. We're below that threshold, at least as of right now. Primarily concerned, damaging winds 60 miles per hour, as well as a lot of lightning. A lot of folks are outside right now, and if that's you, if you're hearing thunder, certainly if you're seeing lightning, you got to go ahead and go inside. It's probably more cool inside anyways, just to be quite frank. Lightning's certainly going to be a challenge for us this evening. We'll take a look at the rain mode, and we are continuing to see torrential rain downpours moving into Centerton, Bentonville, Little Flock, you're next. Bella Vista is seeing some rain as well. The core of that storm, or where the heaviest downpour is, just to the south of Bella Vista. Gravette looks like we're done at the moment, but unfortunately for you folks in Gravette and to Decatur to some extent, there's another storm just back off to your west. In fact, I'll show you that. It's right now moving through parts of Oklahoma, edging closer to that state line, and it is moving your direction. So you're going to get a break, and given how slow the storms are moving, maybe it's a decent break, but unfortunately it is going to bring more rain and more thunderstorms too. If you're just joining us this evening, on behalf of everyone here at Channel 5, we want to wish you a very happy Independence Day. Wish the weather was going to cooperate more for us. Unfortunately, just does not seem to be the case. We do have some severe thunderstorms moving in. Let's take a look from Springdale. It's not raining in Springdale yet, but this camera pointed off towards the north, so we are able to see into that thunderstorm. Certainly got some dark skies. You'll see that coming, no question about it. Bentonville Square. Looks like there's still some folks out and about trying to hide under those trees. And I'll tell you, I don't want to call anyone out, but that's not a smart idea at all. When lightning bolts hit those trees, the trees often explode, and that can be very dangerous. If you're on the Bentonville Square, maybe you've got us pulled up on Facebook Live, on YouTube, or on our free mobile app. If you can hear my voice, if we could, let's try to find ourselves indoors here real soon. Not only is this thunderstorm severe warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds, there's a lot of lightning, and you're going to have some pretty torrential rain. I know on the downtown Bentonville Square, we're looking there right now, you don't see a lot of that rain just yet, but it's about to pick up. And once it does, it's not going to let up necessarily anytime soon. We'll keep monitoring those cameras for you. We've got a great network of those all around 5 Country that gives us a great view of what these storms are doing. Radar at the moment continues to show we've got a very strong thunderstorm moving through Benton County, strong enough that the Weather Service opted to send a severe thunderstorm warning for it specifically. It includes Pea Ridge, Bentonville, Bella Vista, and Prairie Creek. Parts of Decatur also included within that warning polygon, although Decatur, the severe aspect of that thunderstorm, has since passed off to your east. You folks certainly do not need any more bad weather there. The worst of the storm right now sitting right on top of Centerton. If you're in the comment section, if you're living in Centerton, I'd love to know what's going on where you live. I suspect those winds are breezy. You got those limbs blowing around. I'll tell you, the last scan that's been coming in shows that the storm may be weakening just a bit, which could be some good news for us. Unfortunately, by weakening, I only mean it's probably starting to fall below severe limits, meaning we might see that severe thunderstorm warning drop. That doesn't necessarily mean the rain's going to end. That doesn't mean your 4th of July plans may be salvaged. I'm afraid not only do you have this storm that's crawling, and it's going to continue to dump some decent rain on you. You look back off towards the west, and there's several more of those thunderstorms moving our direction. I'll take a broader perspective. We'll turn the latest radar scan on, and it certainly shows that you've got showers and thunderstorms lining up from North Oklahoma to South Oklahoma, and they're all moving due east our direction. Not necessarily a surprise. We knew this was likely to happen. We hoped we could squeeze out as many of those fireworks shows as possible, and I do think, especially the further east you go in the River Valley, places like Franklin, Johnson, Logan, perhaps even Scott counties, as long as nothing else pops up, and there's no guarantee that won't happen, as long as nothing else pops up, maybe we can squeeze those shows out. Got about a little more than an hour to go before a lot of those were set to begin. Sunset now less than an hour away. And with those clouds, with these thunderstorms, it's going to get a little darker a little bit quicker. Maybe that helps us out just a bit. It's going to be damaging winds, the primary concern with these thunderstorms, and frequent lightning. When it comes to the severe weather aspect, but heavy rain is also not good, right? So you're going to want to keep that in mind as well. Given how slow these storms are moving, the one in Benton County only moving at about 20 miles per hour, means not only are we going to continue to see the severe weather threat for an extended period of time, this warning set to expire in about 16 minutes, you're also going to start to run the risk of some runoff, some flash flooding. So if you're in a low-lying area, when these storms move through, they're going to dump a lot of heavy rain over a quick period of time, and then that storm's not going to move out quickly. It's like the in-laws. They just don't get the point. They're like, hey, we want to hang out, but you're ready for them to leave. That's kind of the situation we're dealing with. No offense to any in-laws out there. Happy 4th of July to you folks too, of course. If you're just joining us here on our streaming platforms, I'm Chief Meteorologist Scott Covert in the 5 News Weather Center, tracking severe storms moving through the area. Unfortunately for many of us, this is going to alter some of those 4th of July plans. I want to stick with you here online for just a little bit longer until we can get an update on exactly what this Benton County storm is going to do. It does continue to show some signs of some weakening. And if that severe thunderstorm warning is dropped, that'll be some good news. And if we end our stream, just know this, I'm not going to go anywhere. We'll be here tracking these storms all evening long. And when there is a new severe thunderstorm warning issued that could impact you, your family, your plans this evening, we'll fire up the stream once more and bring you the latest information. Right now, what we know is there's a severe thunderstorm warning that's producing nearly 60-mile-per-hour winds. Centerton, Bentonville, just to the south of Bella Vista. If you're living near the airport, near X&A, near Highfill, north side of Rogers, you're going to see this thunderstorm move through. It's going to pick up the winds. You're going to see some heavy downpours. Skies are going to get really dark. In fact, we can take another look there on the downtown Bentonville square. Rain's picking up. Those trees are dancing a little bit more. And it looks like the rain is going to continue to pick up there. Not seeing as many folks out on the square as we did a few minutes ago. I hope everyone's taken some shelter. I do see some folks running. It would be smart to find yourself inside. There's a lot of lightning with this storm. It is rather electric. It looks like the Weather Service might be getting ready to allow that to expire. And the reason I think that might be the case is they have just issued what's called a special weather statement. And not to get too technical with you, but a special weather statement is below the severity of a severe thunderstorm warning. And anytime that happens, it's indicating that the severe storm may have fallen below severe limits. And as I say that, yes, the National Weather Service out of Tulsa, our great partners there at the Weather Service, have canceled the severe thunderstorm warning early, replacing it with a special weather statement. Now we get into some semantics here. Severe thunderstorm warnings are issued when the winds are at 60 miles per hour. But the severe aspect, while that has decreased, while we aren't seeing those winds actually that high, we still are seeing winds right now up to 50 miles per hour. Not much of a difference, right? Especially for all the folks that were outside. So yes, the severe warning is issued. Is the threat for some gusty winds gone? No, not at all. I think it's still happening right now in addition to the heavy rain. Maybe even some really small hail. Probably could be seeing some nickel-size hail. In fact, we have not checked in on hail in just a minute. Let's go ahead and take another look. We'll take a tighter look back here into Benton County, and it does look like certainly in western Benton County there was a little bit of hail. You can kind of see those grayer colors there as the storm approached Centerton and Bentonville, which would indicate to me probably between penny and nickel size hail, if I had to guess. Based off of that data there, I would say nickel to penny size hail would have been possible with that core of that storm. Looks like our radar indicating that was the case there as well. Okay, here's what we're going to do. There are no severe thunderstorm watches in effect. I'll brief you with that. Wouldn't be surprised if there's not one issued here shortly. At one point, the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman gave a 40% chance of a watch being issued. Hasn't happened yet, but as those storms are moving our direction, they are encountering an environment that is primed. It's really warm. It's really humid. Those are some pretty good ingredients to get some summertime severe thunderstorms. Watch or not, we're going to get some heavy rain moving through. We'll put radar back into motion, and what I'll do is I'll loop this over the last hour just so you can get a general idea of how quickly these storms are getting closer to our neck of the woods. Most of them moving at about 20 miles per hour, which is pretty slow. On one hand, for those of us that are dry right now, that's good news. Maybe it holds the rain off a little bit longer. Maybe we can light those fireworks and celebrate the 4th of July as the founders intended. For those that are under the rain right now, it's probably not going to end anytime soon, just given how slow they're moving. That slow trajectory, that slow track of the storms is one of those recipes that can give you some flash flooding. In fact, getting some information right now. Let me just read this real quickly. Northeast and eastern Oklahoma, southwestern Missouri, and northwestern Arkansas Weather Prediction Center indicating that flash flooding is going to be possible, just given how rich the moisture field is. That's a 50-cent way of saying it's really muggy outside. The atmosphere from where we're at on the surface, well up into the mid-levels of the atmosphere, there's a lot of moisture, a lot of humidity. You don't need me to tell you that. If you've been outside at all, you know exactly how muggy it is. Those higher dew points do indicate the potential for some flash flooding. The other hand that we haven't talked about on this stream necessarily is it's really dry. Drought's getting worse by the day. This could be helpful. We really do need some rain. Wish we could have held it off for just a couple more hours. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans. Fireworks show of her own. If you're on Beaver Lake, the skies are getting dark. There's no question about that. Storm's just off to your west. It is moving your direction. It'll be with you within the next half hour. Delaware County, Oklahoma, Bull Hollow, the Jay community, you'd have a severe thunderstorm warning. Delaware County, we certainly appreciate you folks there. Worst of the storm pretty much right over Bull Hollow right now. It's getting ready to cross Oklahoma State Highway 59. That'll soon be crossing the Oklahoma state line, Oklahoma-Arkansas state line into western Benton County. Looks like that may impact Gentry as well as Decatur, eventually into Gravette as well. Heavy rain. Do see quite a bit of lightning strikes there as well. So you're probably hearing quite a bit of thunder, and I'm not going to be at all surprised if there's not a little bit of hail embedded within the core of that storm. No question about it. Looks like we have 1 inch hail. 1 inch is the size of a quarter. That's enough to hurt. Trust me, you don't want to get hit in the head with quarter-size hail. It's also enough to put some dents in your hood, on your car. At times, depending on the quality of your roof and how new it is, it can also do some roof damage as well. So that's a look at the hail. Wind's really going to be the big concern for many of us this evening. Wind damage is going to be very common with some of these storms. We're talking straight line winds. There's not a lot of ingredients that would support rotation, so there's some good news with regards to that. I'm not going to entirely rule that out. You never ever rule that out, but I think more predominantly than anything else, damaging straight line winds and some hail are going to be the primary concerns when it comes to severe weather. Heavy rain, lightning, not necessarily severe on an average day, but the reason I continue to point that out to you is I just know there's a lot of folks outside. It's 4th of July after all, so a lot of folks celebrating outdoors, and that's where that secondary danger comes into play. Looks like that warning was trimmed a little bit, continuing to see that warning in effect for Delaware County. That is going to run until let's see here, 8:15 p.m. That storm also only moving at about 20 miles per hour. As you can see in Benton County, the warning has fallen. It's fallen below severe limits, but Weather Service replaced that with a special weather statement indicating 50-mile-per-hour winds will be possible. 1 inch hail is going to be also possible in some of the stronger storms, although I don't think that's going to be as common as the wind threat. All right, so right now, here's where we're at. 7:52 is our current time. We have no active severe thunderstorm warnings or watches for that matter in 5 country. Obviously, we see those storms moving in out of Delaware County and parts of Oklahoma. We're going to end the stream here for the time being. Here's my promise to you. If another warning is issued that could possibly impact you, your family, your plans, your property, we'll get back here on Facebook Live. We'll get back on our free mobile app. So you can just download it to your cell phones. Just search Channel 5 or KFSM in the App Store or the Google Play Store. And we're often always live here on YouTube Live as well. All right, for all of us here at Channel 5, we hope you and your family are having a lovely 4th of July. Sorry, Mother Nature had other plans. We'll keep you posted as the storms evolve this evening.